Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is now how do we go about generating an idea? There must be some techniques, there must be some methods through which we can actually generate idea. There are plenty of techniques. If you just Google this word, idea generation techniques, I'm sure you will find, tons of websites which is actually talking about idea generation techniques. For the paucity of time, because we have to conclude this session in a prescribed time, I have brought only three major techniques which I thought I should be sharing with you people, with the young generation like you. And these are also the techniques which I sometimes use in everything that I do with my clients. One of them is mind mapping. Mind mapping technique, if you look at that in a small symbol inside that bulb, inside that purple bulb, uh, it is basically showing the network. And this is the the way our brain thinks. Okay, our cognitive brain, when I say cognitive brain has its own method or way of thinking or carrying forward the thoughts. When we are thinking about one particular topic, and then there are subtopics which emerges out of it. So it is kind of branching that happens. So our brain always thinks in a branched fashion. Or you think of a tree, a very large tree which has got multiple main branches, and then from those main branches there are sub branches, and that is precisely the way our brain is habituated and designed to think about it. Mind mapping is a technique wherein you can just take one A3 size, really big size, piece of paper, and then start with a pencil or a pen. If you are comfortable with pen, you can use the pen. Otherwise, use the pencil so that you can rub, erase, and redraw the things. But idea is basically you put a central thought about a particular topic that you have chosen, and then branch out lot of things which are associated with that central thought. For example, if I were to think about my training program, how will I go about thinking about this training program? I will think that, okay, who are the potential audience for my training? So the training, or the title of the training, is a central thought which I will put in the center, and then I will draw a branch which is leading towards the audience. So basically I need to categorize different audience, whether there could be business owners, whether there are professionals, whether there are students like you, whether there are going to be some top notch professionals, or whether it is going to be some industrial body, or some educational institute. So this is the categorization of audience. Depending on the audience, what kind of material that I need to prepare. So then comes the content box. So again, keeping the training program or the title of the training in the center, the another branch that is leading out of that is the content that I need to create. Okay, in terms of content, if I'm given only 20 minutes, probably I will just carry a piece of paper and maybe I'll just take that as a reference. But if it is a program like this where I'm given, let's say, 1 hour or more than 1 hour's time, then probably I'll put together some slides, like I have done it today. Sometimes I need not talk a lot about what I am going to speak or what my content is. Maybe I just have created one video and I'm just running that video and then stopping, pausing that video, and in the middle I'll describe few things and then rerun the video again. So there are different varieties of content which will come in picture. Then comes whether the training program is going to be online, like we are having this online session today, or whether it is going to be in a different medium altogether, or it is going to be face to face. So that way, if you just start looking at it, from one central thought of delivering a training, there are multiple branches which come out, and then I can accordingly, it helps me to take the decision, and that's how the idea gets generated. There are lots of books available. There are some free ebooks available on internet. You just have to search with the keyword mind mapping technique. One of the famous author for mind mapping is Mr. Tony Buzan. I have got couple of books from him, which is there in my electronic library. I have read partially. I have not read them fully, but I am using this technique almost on regular basis, and it's a wonderful technique to really generate and further develop the idea. The other way to generate the idea is to really interview people, go out in the market, go do the study. It requires a lot of legwork. But before you start your legwork, you need to create some powerful, pertinent questions. When I say powerful questions, those are typically open-ended questions which has a potency to extract a lot of information from the people. So in survey, if you are just going with plain question which has an answer like yes and no, probably it is not going to help you with lot of information, because what you are doing here is to generate an idea, you are basically collecting the information from the market, and you need to collect this information from the market in such a way that it becomes very useful for you to develop a formidable idea. So you call it survey, you call it interviewing the people, or you call it market research. It's basically some preparation done at the back end of drafting or writing down your question, and those question list also should not be more very bulky. If you are going to ask 20 questions to the people, probably people don't have time to answer your question or provide you the necessary information. So try to keep it as concise as possible, but at the same time make sure that your list of question is going to get you the kind of information that you need to create an idea out of it. The third thing is called reverse thinking, or it is also called an opposite thinking. uh, in one of the slides, we discussed about a mental image, the imagination. So if there is a problem, uh, rather than going into the nuances of a problem or a challenge, that what is causing the problem, what could be the root cause, how it can be dealt with, it's a very straightforward way of approaching a problem. When you have the problem, typically our brain is conditioned to think in this way. But sometimes reverse thinking also helps you. Reverse thinking in the sense that what could be the solution, or what is an ideal situation that I want for this problem? What could be an ideal solution? And from this ideal solution, you start traveling in the backward direction and then come and hit the problem. When you do this, you are already sorting out lot of things or lot of possibilities that you might encounter while you are developing an idea or a product as an end result of an idea. So sometimes this reverse thinking also helps you. For example, if I were to get more customers, let's say my requirement statement is that I need more customers in my business, or I need more connections for my network. Okay, so what do I need to do? So the straight way of thinking about this need statement or a problem statement is to, okay, what are the ways through which I can reach out to the people? How can I improve on my sales, or how can I improve on my sales talk or sales script? Or what do I need to change in terms of my product? What do I need to change in terms of my pricing so that more customers are able to buy, or I am able to attract more customers? This is a straightforward thinking. The opposite way of thinking to these need statement or a problem statement is, how can I not get more customers? It is exactly opposite, isn't it? My need statement was, how do I get more customers? But my opposite need statement is, how can I not get more customers? And then from that point onwards, if I start thinking about, okay, these are the reasons because of which customers will not buy my services or customers will not buy my product, these are the pain areas because of which customer reject my product, these are the issues associated with my product or my services because of which I will not be able to get more customers. So this is completely opposite way of thinking about a problem. But once you sort it out everything, you know the way, and then that's how you create an idea, and then you will find, okay, these are the areas where I need to do an improvement, these are the areas where I need to pay more attention. Okay, so these are three techniques which sometimes I use. Mind mapping, like I said, I keep using on most of the occasions. Survey and interview, sometimes we need to do it for my clients, so in some cases I am involved, basically helping them to craft the questions. And reverse thinking is something that I typically deploy in my business, for my business activity that I am doing.